It is official. The matchup is here. The hype is starting to build, and we are just about 48 hours away from a Phillies Dodgers NLDS. In my opinion, the two best teams in baseball squaring off. Unfortunately, in the NLDS in a 5-game series, I wish the case of this would be Phillies Dodgers NLCS 7-game series to go to the World Series, but here we are. Obviously, the Dodgers beat the Cincinnati Reds in their 3-game wildcard series. They swept them 2-0. Some big offensive nights for the Dodgers both nights. Bullpen shook it up a little bit for Los Angeles, but in the end, the Dodgers won the game, and they will be heading to Citizens Bank Park this coming Saturday. The Dodgers should be flying in today to Philadelphia here on Thursday, and the hype is here. Starters have been announced, rosters will be finalized Saturday morning. And, this feels like this has the potential to be the biggest series of the entire postseason. Once again, in my opinion, the two best teams in baseball. I think the Phillies are the best team in baseball. Truly, unbiasedly, I really do think the Phillies all around are the best team in baseball. But the Dodgers are right there on their tail. I can't sit here and tell you this is going to be an easy series because it's not. It's going to be a war. But I think the Phillies have prepared for this. I think they're ready. A few things on this series. This video is going to be everything you need to know for Saturday's Game 1 of the NLDS. If you haven't seen already, Shohei Ohtani versus Christopher Sanchez, Game 1 of the NLDS on Saturday, either at 6 o'clock or 6:30. It depends on the outcome of the Red Sox-Yankees game today, but Shohei Ohtani will take the mound for the Dodgers in Game 1 alongside Christopher Sanchez. And, Phillies struggled a little bit against Ohtani when they went out to L.A., but they only saw him for 5 innings. The biggest question with Ohtani right now is how far is David Roberts' leash with their star pitcher and hitter. Obviously, Ohtani coming off Tommy John. They've been easing him back in. He hasn't been going out throwing 100, 110 pitches. He threw 90 in his last start, but in his start against the Phillies, he didn't throw over 60. So no one really knows how far the leash is. This will be Ohtani's first career playoff start as a pitcher. So it's going to be crazy. The bank is going to be rocking. But, big series for the Phillies starting pitching. Obviously, Sanchez Game 1. We don't know as of right now who will go Game 2 or Game 3. But, just kind of looking at some stats of the 3 pitchers we assume will pitch. Sorry, I'm going to shut my window. The Mr. Softy truck's driving down the road. I'm sorry if you guys heard that. Sanchez, Luzardo, Suarez are the 3 guys that we're assuming will start playoff games for the Phillies. Obviously, Rob Thomson hasn't confirmed that yet. The only thing he has confirmed is Sanchez in Game 1. But, this is kind of how the big 3, I would say, for the Dodgers, even though it's really a big 4 with Teoscar Hernandez, big 5 if Will Smith is healthy. But, the big 3 in LA, Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie, Freeman. These are kind of how these guys have stacked up against Christopher Sanchez, Jesus Luzardo, and Ranger Suarez. Shohei Ohtani is 7 for 31 combined against those 3 pitchers with a 226 average, 2 home runs, and 13 strikeouts. Mookie Betts, 8 for 30 with a 267 average, 2 home runs, and 8 strikeouts. Freddie Freeman, 11 for 38 with a 289 average, 1 home run, and 11 strikeouts. 6 of Freddie's hits and both of Mookie's home runs are off of Ranger Suarez. Both Ohtani or Sanchez and Luzardo have actually pitched really well against these 3 hitters for LA. And I did just kind of want to throw one more nugget in here. Shohei Ohtani has hit a career 250 at Citizens Bank Park in 44 at-bats with 2 doubles, no home runs, 16 strikeouts, and a 661 OPS. He's hitting 190 at Citizens Bank Park as a member of the Dodgers. So I did just kind of want to touch here on a little bit of the pitching matchup, specifically for Game 1, but, getting into a little bit more as well. As I said earlier, this is a big series for the Dodgers. Huge series for the Phillies, huge series for the Dodgers. And, like I said, I think these teams are the 2 best teams in baseball, and I think the Dodgers believe that as well. The Dodgers won't say it. Not wanting to disrespect the other 10 teams still in the dance, but they believe this very well could be their World Series is a quote from Bob Nightingale. I think the Dodgers know that this is going to be their hardest series they face this entire playoffs. And, from our end, we hope the Dodgers, this is their last series they play. And we hope the Phillies continue to go. Just a few more things I wanted to kind of hit on here. Just some quick notes from, this is from MLB.com. It's a little who's hot and who's not. Mookie Betts finished off the regular season with an impressive turnaround in his final 2 months and carried his momentum in the wild card series, going 6 for 9 with 3 doubles. Hernandez, the Dodgers version of Mr. October, also recorded multiple hits in each wildcard game. Meanwhile, Andy Pages is hitless in 9 at-bats. Muncy's had a slow start, and Will Smith is still up in the air for his health. On the Phillies side, Alec Boehm went 17 for 37, hitting .459 with 5 extra base hits over his final 9 games of the regular season. Marsh hit .338 with 11 extra base hits and 13 RBIs in September. Bryson Stott hit .313 with 4 homers in September. Bader hit .341 with 15 extra base hits over his final 35 games. On the other end of the spectrum, Realmuto hit just .205 and Harper hit .215, blah, 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 blah. But I don't think anyone's worried about Bryce Harper. The biggest thing I think with this Phillies offense heading into this Dodgers series is I think you know what you're going to get from Schwarber. You know what you get from Bryce. You know what you get from those 2 guys in October. The biggest one for me is what do you get from the Alec Boehms, the Brandon Marshes, the Bryson Stotts? Where does your depth come out? If those 3 guys continue to carry over that hot September they had in Boehm, Marsh, Stott, and Bader, the Phillies should be in really good shape. This is how I think the lineup will go. Right now, I kind of have some thoughts just to, what they've done over the past few months. This is how I think they'll square up game 1 of the lineup. I have Trey leading off. Obviously, Rob Thomson said once Trey is healthy, he will be back in the leadoff spot. Bader will slide back. So Trey leading off, playing short. Schwarber, Harper, Boehm. I have Alec Boehm hitting cleanup. I think that's how they'll roll in game 1. There's one other situation where I think maybe he wouldn't, but we will get into that in a minute. Brandon Marsh hitting 5th in left field. Brandon Marsh has raked right-handed pitching. He had an awesome September. Harrison Bader hitting 6th, playing center field. JT hitting 7th behind the plate. Max Kepler in right field. The Phillies, it's been a lot of Max Kepler at-bats against right-handed pitching. I think they'll continue that in game 1. And Bryson Stott obviously hitting 9th. The only way that I don't see Max Kepler playing right field and I don't see Alec Boehm hitting cleanup is the possibility, and once again, I don't think this is going to happen, at least in game 1. I think Max Kepler will start game 1 in right field. I think Nick Castellanos will be on the bench. But the only thing I can see happening is the fact that the Phillies may try and bank on some old Nick Castellanos NLDS history. Nick Castellanos has a .396 batting average with 19 hits, 5 homers, 12 RBIs, and 8 runs scored in 12 games in the NLDS, a.k.a. the last 3 NLDSs that he has played in with the Phillies. He's been an NLDS warrior over the years. For some reason, Casty loves the divisional series. So once again, I think the only way that you wouldn't see Kepler is if they're banking on some old history. But my prediction still stays right now as of Max Kepler out there. That's all I got for today. I think this is starting to, the excitement's starting to build. I think the nerves are starting to build from people. The hardest playoff series that the Phillies have played over the last 4 years is about to start on Saturday. It's going to be a war. I don't see either team blowing any team out. I think this series is going a minimum of 4 games, and it has the potential to be one of the better playoff series we've seen in a long time, and I hope the Phillies come out on top. But this has been the newest episode of Phillies Digest. My name is Luke Arcaini, and I will see you guys next time.